John Hattie talks about mind frames as being absolutely essential in what it is that a teacher does. And his mind frames, I think, are so instructive. But perhaps my own personal favorite one is that he says that we need to talk way less about teaching and way more about learning. And that's a fundamental change in how it is I know that I came in to this profession. I thought my job when I first came into this profession was to be a teacher. What I recognize now is that my job is to facilitate the learning in others. For me, the fundamental difference in action between being a teacher and being someone who facilitates learning is that it's not about how much knowledge I have and am willing to impart on my students, but rather that I help them to be able to find that path along the way. Now, mind you, that means I need to know a lot about what it is that I'm doing in my classroom. I need to have that great foundational base of knowledge, but it's not sufficient for me to simply open up my brain and say, here's all the stuff I know, you should know it too. Much like a guide, I need to be able to shine that light on the path and help students along the way.
When I'm planning a lesson, particularly in writing, there are elements that I need to keep every single day. The first thing is every student needs to know what the focus of the day is. That's super important. If we don't have a focus, then as writers we tend to go off in all sorts of different directions. Another element that needs to happen every single day when working with students is they need the opportunity to share what they're writing and to do that in a productive way. And so one of the things that needs to happen every day is teaching academic language, the language of writing and the language of the writer, and giving them that focus. That happens to happen every day. Students need a chance to share out loud their thinking every single day, and they need to hear me share my thinking out loud every single day. I think that's just really important as writers and as learners in general, that we model that for students and they know what we're thinking, and also they get a chance to speak themselves. My focus is English language learners, and I feel it's really important that those students every day speak and listen. And so you'll hear a lot of times in my classroom when I'll ask them or give them sentence frames, things that have to happen all the time with them.
One of the things that I think about when I'm planning my lessons is trying to make sure that I create a space that is predictable for the students. So they come in, for the most part, they know what to expect. We always have our purpose on the board. We always have our content purpose, language, and social purpose. We also always have an agenda, which is separate from that purpose, but it also ties into that. But that also kind of lets those students know that when they turn around and they look at that board and they say, okay, today we have a quick write, and then we're going to do a close read, and then we're going to answer some critical thinking questions or something like that. We just try and create a space where it's predictable for the students, so when they come in, they know what to expect and they're not stressed out, because there's so much going on in their lives and so much going on at school. We want them to come in and be focused on what it is that they're learning. And then the other thing too is making sure that we're planning for our students, creating lessons that are different but at the same time are tailored to the students in individual classes. So I mean, there's times where we may have an essay or a quick write, but we tailor those essays or quick writes or critical thinking questions to specific students in our class as well.
When I'm thinking about planning my lessons, I take into consideration a lot of different things. And some of those things occur on a daily basis to support some of my learners, like English language learners. There are certain structures that need to be in place to repeat the practice enough to help them grow. And I need to consider that student choice plays a large part in engagement. And so I try to cover choices that are broad enough that somebody finds something that they're interested in reading. So some other things that we include every single day are opportunities for table talk, designing for conversations and discussion with their teammates to formulate answers so that they feel more comfortable contributing whole class. Some other things that we do every single day are teacher modeling, and that might even come down to navigating where they need to be on a page. We also include or design opportunities for reading, writing, listening, and speaking every day.